Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you all have the earplug with the simultaneous translation, because unfortunately we're not able to do this in Korean. Sorry for that. On behalf of the Danish Embassy and the Danish delegation, the Danish Agriculture and Food Council, it's my great pleasure to be here. And first of all, I would like to extend a thanks to our friends from the Korean Pork Producers Association, whom, as the director just told you, joined us in Denmark at the Aco not so long ago. My name is Henrik. I'm Minister Counselor at the Danish Embassy, and together with Michael, I will try to introduce the Danish pig industry to you. And then afterwards, our four companies will come and give you some more specific insights about their various specialities. But Michael?
Yes, hello. My name is Michael Stalsmith. I'm a market manager with the Danish Agriculture and Food Council, and I fully concede with Henrik. Thank you for seeing us here. As I said, I'm from the Danish Agriculture and Food Council. We are a private membership-owned organization. We have 20,400 members from farm to fork. That means that we represent the farmers. So when you said before that the people listen to the farmers, they do, but we speak for the farmers. In our organization, we negotiate for them, we represent them. We also represent the food processors and the agricultural supply industry and the agro-business, the companies who are with us today. We are 550 people worldwide. We represent our members' political interests in the Danish Parliament, in the EU, and also abroad, working together with, for instance, the Danish embassies here in Korea. We work to get market access for our company's products all over the world. We provide many kinds of advisory services, and we are supporting with knowledge and innovation. Our headquarters, where I am working, is in Copenhagen in Denmark. We have offices in London and Brussels and Beijing and Tokyo. So we represent the whole value chain from farm to fork. We represent the farmers with the animals for slaughter, the dairy production, the plant production, the poultry production, the eggs, and the next step in the whole processing sector. We also represent that, and the agro sector with the genetics, where we have breeders with us today, with the machines and housing units, bioenergy, etc. And here are some of our members. I will now leave the word to Henrik, and I will come back and talk some more about animal welfare.
Thank you. Thanks. Just two words about the Danish Embassy here in Korea. The Danish Embassy is part of the Danish Ministry for Foreign Affairs. Our job or our tasks here are different. As you can see, we help the Danes with the consular services. Where I am presented in the Trade Council, we help Danish companies expanding their exports to Korea. We do public diplomacy and different other things. But let's get to the most interesting topic for you. I will try. I have a lot of slides, so I hope that you will look at them afterwards in the brochure, because it's impossible to cover the industry in the time we have available. So I'll try to give you the highlights. Michael will give you some more, and then afterwards the Danish companies. And at the end we'll have some Q&A, so feel free to ask any question. Also, I should mention that the Danish companies have a small booth or table outside, so if you want to talk to any of them one-to-one, you can do that afterwards. The food industry is very, very important in Denmark. It's the largest in terms of employees. We have 180,000 people approximately working in the food industry. I know in Korean perspective it doesn't sound a lot, but it's a significant part of our workforce. Remember that we're only 6 million people, so So it's quite a significant amount. The total export is 25% of the total Danish export, so it is very significant, and hence also has a lot of political interest, and that's why Michael and his organization can of course have a big saying on behalf of the farmers. It was mentioned by the director, by Michael also, that the organizations and the farmers can put pressure on the politicians to set up the right framework. But actually it's a partnership, it's a collaboration, very unique collaboration going on between all parties. Government, authorities, companies and unions are very closely interlinked and have shared interest, and hence it's possible to make the best possible framework for the farmers. And the farmers do have a big say because it's such a big industry. Yeah, this is where Michael is coming from, Agriculture and Food Council, where Seges Innovation is also a part. Seges Innovation is doing a lot of research innovation within the whole sector, and Michael has also already mentioned what they are doing. So this is the Danish pig industry in one slide with a lot of facts. As you will see, we have a little more than 2,000 pig producers or farmers. We have approximately 30 million pigs, and a little less than 2 million tons of meat is produced every year. Here you can see the number of different farms. We nowadays export approximately half of the pigs. Used to slaughter all of them in Denmark, but because of increasing labor cost, approximately half is now sent out of the country and slaughtered in primarily Germany or Poland. So we used to have many more slaughterhouses, but today we only have 3, and I'll come back to that with a few more details. And you will see that approximately 85% of all the products are actually exported abroad. A lot of it going here to Asia, where Korea, Japan and China are very, very big importers of Danish pork. Just a little bit about the structural changes, which we saw also when we visited the KPA, and it's a very similar trend that is going on. You will see we have here figures from 1980 and from 2 years ago, and you can see over this 40-year period, the number of farms have dropped from almost 70,000 to 2,000, and the trend is actually continuing. I think I heard Torben saying yesterday that it was expected to go, but it's a 600 expected to go down to a very, very low number. So farms are getting bigger and bigger all the time because it's becoming a very consolidated industry. The number of pigs have more than doubled over this period, so that it's close to 30 million. We normally joke and say that, we're only 6 million people, but we are outnumbered 1 to 5 by pigs because we have 30 million pigs. So it's really, really big ratio. As you can see, the average production per farm has gone up from below 200 to 14,000, and that number is also increasing every year. We used to have 40 years ago 20 slaughterhouses. Now it's only 3, but these 3 are really, really big, or at least one of them is really, really big. Slaughterings, the number is more or less the same because, as I said, half nowadays is exported and slaughtered somewhere else. Yeah. These are just more details about the figures. You can read that yourself. Yeah. This I'll not touch upon because we have one of the breeding companies here doing genetics, but genetics is of course really, really important and key to what's happened in the productivity. You will see that approximately 34 piglets per year, that's how many a Danish sow produced on average. And if you see the increase from 2002, it was approximately 24, and it's gone up to 34. It's a very, very significant increase. And it was mentioned before that it has very much to do with feed and other things taking the productivity up. Just to mention some of the slaughterhouses, I'm sure many of you at least know or have heard the name Danish Crown, which is a very, very significant player. And you can also see that Danish Crown is responsible for around 3/4 of all the slaughterings going on in Denmark. It's a very, very significant company. Production cost for a 30 kilo pig, comparing Denmark, Spain, Germany, Netherlands and Belgium. And you will see that throughout the whole period, Denmark has managed to have a lower production cost than the other countries, and still has, now it's more or less on par with Belgium, but still very low production costs compared to other neighboring countries. And here you'll see it in a global perspective. I'm sorry we don't have Korea in here. We should have had, of course, but I guess you know your own number. So Denmark 13.7 approximately per kilo of slaughtered pig weight. Yeah. Also, in terms of the weaned pigs per liter, Denmark is number one in the statistics here globally. Also, daily gain, coming back to the feed and the work going on. You'll hear presentations from two feed companies later, and I'm sure they will explain why this is happening and why they are a reason behind this. But you can see that daily gain in Denmark is actually a little more than a kilo, so it's quite significant. Of course, the higher we can get this number, the lower the production cost will be. So this is something that's a lot of research is going into. Looking ahead, what is important, and we talk about the strategy from the industry and from the government. One very, very important area, which was also talked about earlier, is of course animal diseases, keeping out animal diseases. We have been really, really good at that. African swine fever is mentioned here. A lot of work is being done to prevent and keep that out. Michael will mention that a little bit more. Also BSE, we have not had a case of BSE in more than 15 years in Denmark, so we have a very, very sound industry. But of course, there's also a lot of hard work going into that and to prevent the diseases. Then we talked a lot about, also yesterday in our seminar, about sustainability and climate effect. I'll come a little later into that more, because the whole CO2 and carbon emission is of course a very, very hot topic and something that the politicians are taking really, really serious. When we talk about animal welfare, then I'm sure Torben will come into that from Aco Funki, talking about the farrowing pens for loose lactating sows. So at the same time, we're trying to increase productivity, we're trying to decrease CO2, and we're trying to increase animal welfare. So that's of course an equation that requires a lot of work and skills and expertise to do in the right way. Vision for Michael's council for the whole association is 3 focus areas. Animal welfare, management, and sustainability is the key topics in Denmark in the industry today. And we have some more words on that. When you talk about sustainability, there's a lot of talk about removal of manure and the effect I will come into a little bit later by decreasing that. Then we talked about animal welfare. The loose house sows in all new pig houses is a requirement. You can see some of the others, so I'll not spend too much time on that, but it's important, and I think you can see it in the notes. So talking about the carbon emission, this is something that is really, really important, because Denmark, as many other countries, have a target of having zero, the decrease in this carbon emission to zero by 2015. And that of course also then goes for the industry here, which I don't think I have to tell you, but that's a big challenge because it is a natural effect of what you're doing. But you will see that in Denmark, pig production accounts for approximately 16% within the food industry. And if we look into where it's coming from, if you go look through to the value chain, here we're talking about the carbon footprint. You'll see by far the majority, approximately 60%, actually comes from the finished pigs. So what can be done to decrease this number and to achieve the target? This is a little bit technical, but this is actually if you take a pig from birth to slaughter, this is the carbon footprint of the pig, and you'll see that by far the largest proportion, the green here, I don't know if you can read it, but feed and energy is approximately 70% of the total carbon emission. Then the rest, manure is also pretty high and almost 20%. So these are the areas that are currently being looked into. How can we actually decrease these numbers? An area that's very popular and looked into a lot is the frequent vacuum flushing of manure. And you'll see down here, if you do slurry flushing every 35 days, every 14 days, and every 7 days, you will see the effect on the carbon emission. And there is a significant decrease in carbon emission if you do the slurry flushing every 7 days. And that's something that is a very, very political topic right now, how to actually implement this. Yeah. So actually there's also even talk about if you would remove the manure every day by a scraper system that would automatically take out the manure every day. And you would see that if that would happen, then you would actually go down to hardly any carbon emission from the pig production. So that is definitely the end target. Now the challenge is to getting there without it being too expensive and too costly for the farmers. This is some work that's also being done in Michael's organization and team, where you have different initiatives that you can do to decrease the carbon emission. And you can see here you see the effect on the carbon emission, how much it would decrease. But also, equally importantly, on the right-hand side, there is an estimate for each initiative. For instance, if you would do the slurry flushing at least every 7th day, it would lead to a decrease by 17%, but it would lead to an increase in the cost per slaughtered pig by 1 to 2 krona. And similar with all the others, so you can see some of the things that are decreasing significantly are also quite expensive. So of course now there is a discussion and a political discussion about how much can the cost per slaughtered pig actually increase. So we need to find the right balance here to handle this and find out how we should do going forward. Yeah. So I think we talked about yesterday, there are 2 ways to do improvements. One is whip, the other one is carrot. So there has been a long discussion in Denmark about how can we get the CO2 emission down also in the food industry. And in June last year, a very, very unique political agreement was reached between all parties in Denmark, government, the unions, and also the industry. And this is significant because the end goal was actually that the industry accepted that from 2030 there will be a tax on CO2 emission from food production. So also for the farmers doing pig production, they will have a tariff on their CO2 emission from 2030. As you can see here, there will be Danish kroner 300, that corresponds to $45 per ton of CO2 emission from the pigs or cattle will be introduced, and that will be increased significantly 5 years later to 750 kroners. So now there is a push for the industry before 2030 to improve the productivity and improve the way they produce their products so that the CO2 emission goes down, so they actually avoid to pay this tax. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, there were these initiatives that I mentioned to you that could actually decrease the carbon emission. Within the agreement, there is what we call the basic deduction. So the first 60% is for free. So the stippled line here shows the target. So we need to get a decrease so that we get below this point. Because if you're below here, you'll not have to pay any taxes. And then we have just exemplified by showing some of the initiatives that you do. For instance, if you do nothing, then the farmers would have to pay approximately $1 or €1 per kilo pig they produce in tax for the CO2 that they lead out. If you do barn acidification, you will be below, so there will be no tax. Same for frequent ventilation and biogas, etc., etc. So this is just showing that there's a lot being done to actually help or push the industry to improve productivity, but also to find new ways of producing that reduces the carbon emission. As I said, the climate tax will be introduced from 2030. But the good thing is that the pig production actually know and have technologies that can decrease the carbon emission. And they can do it so it gets below the area where they have to pay tax. So what it says here, using climate technologies is cheaper than paying taxes. So at the same time, you will avoid paying taxes, but you'll also improve your productivity and your production facilities. So that is the majority of the work going on in Denmark, and that is the political focus right now. As I said, another big area is animal welfare, which Michael will tell you a bit more about. Yeah.
I will tell you a little bit about animal welfare. Mr. Torben Torngaard, he will tell you more a little bit later. So, as you can see here, for stables for sows in service, the legislation says that the sows must be kept in groups. It is allowed to keep the sows in crates for 3 days for insemination, but after that they should be able to move freely. And this is unique for Denmark and Europe. Until 1998, the pregnant sows were in crates for the whole period of 115 days. And in 1998, the Danish legislation decided that it was only permitted for the pregnant sows to be in the stalls for 4 weeks after service, beginning from January 2014 for existing stables, and from 1999 for new stables. In farrowing units, 95% of the sows are in pens, and from our organization we recommend this solution, the swap solution, because as the sow is in the pen for 3 to 5 days while the piglets are being born and get the first raw milk, as this results in the lowest number of dead piglets. And existing stables must be rebuilt during the next 15 years. And here you can see some barn, some stable solutions. And in Denmark we demand that only parts of the floor must be slatted floors, as the pigs feel better on a full floor. And in EU it's allowed for full slatted floors. In Denmark we also demand a showering system, a cooling system for the animals in warmer periods. And also in Denmark we have a demand for that there should be some kind of entertainment for the kids, for the pigs. It must touch the floors, and which gives a natural stimulus to the animals. And also you can see for hospital pens we have special rules with the cover and heating and cooling and straw or rubber. And also we have decided in Denmark for keeping the pigtails uncut on the pig. So there's an initiative going on where a farmer gets awarded for delivering pigs with the tail intact. And also you can see, as Henrik also mentioned, there are some increased initiatives in the EU also for loose sows in service and in farrowing units, and for the tail docking and castration and the floor types, etc. And from our side, in my organization, we are of course fighting for that all farmers in the EU should have the same regulations, so that our farmers do not have a harder time competing with the rest of them. And also in our organization we have created the Danish system to secure that the meat for export has the highest possible and uniform quality. And the Danish transport standard has been created to avoid diseases coming into Denmark by truck. I will tell you a little bit more about that. And also, of course, it's to secure the quality in the meat. So this approximately 1,000 producers have a UK contract, and the Danish certificate is an initiative to secure a higher price for the Danish farmer, and it's an initiative coming from the farmers themselves, from our side. And they are all of them are being audited, and so about 20% of the audits are not reported in advance and should be reported within 48 hours to secure that the responsible operations manager is present. And also there's the Danish transport station standard. It's paid and owned by the pig producers. There are 27,000 trucks exporting Danish pigs, and when they come to the border over here and also over there. There are some washing stations where all trucks must be washed down, and this is paid for. Only a part of it is paid for by the farmer exporting his meat. The rest is paid for from a fund on all farmers. So this is of course to secure that we have that we do not get any African swine fever, etc., into Denmark, because this will be a catastrophe with the enormous pork production we have in Denmark. And also, we have a 70 kilometers border with Germany, and there we have built a fence to keep the wild boars out of Denmark. And it has been a success. I think that the estimate is that there are now 10 wild boars on the Danish area. Thank you.
그래서 이제 순서대로 업체별 어떤 양돈 기술 및 설비 소개하는 시간을 가지도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 아코 펑키 돌벤 도네가스 마케팅 담당자님께서 발표가 있겠습니다. 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Thank you very much. I will first start because I have another title. I'm also the chairman for the Danish Pig Academy. And when we get guests from abroad to Denmark, then we have made 29 companies together, one big showroom where you can see the whole industry on one place. And there we normally make a seminar so guests can hear about maybe breeding pigs, maybe feed, maybe a slurry system and so on, so we can make a program. But I will say the Danish Pig Academy is a place where you can learn about the Danish pig industry, and you can also get inspiration for your farm at home. Just some few figures from the Danish pig industry. This is the use of antibiotic. And this is European countries where we can see Poland is in the top, Hungary and so on. But if we come to the other end, the 5 Scandinavian countries, the antibiotic consumption is more or less nothing. Another result, as sometimes show, is also animal welfare in the farm and in the transport. If you see the first presentation, the half of the piglets is exported to Germany or to Poland from Denmark. So most of the half of the pigs will get a transport around 25 kilos. And then they will get a transport again when they go to the slaughterhouse. And we can see the mortality both in the farm and in the transport have been reduced dramatically. And today it's more or less no mortality there. That also means that the pigs are getting water, they are getting special temperature, they are getting some feed and so on under the transport. So we are sure that they have a good life and can survive. If we go back to the Danish Pig Academy again, there we have the 28 companies. And I can see today we are already 3 here, all members of the academy. Aco Funki is one of them. We have R2 Agro here. And then we have Breeders, the genetic. So that's just 3 of them. But if you come to the Danish Pig Academy, you will meet them all. And you can hear more or less everything from the different experts. And Denmark, we are really used, like this organization here, Korean Pig Production Association, we are really used to work together. We are working together with the Food Nation, which is the organization for all the export of the food. We are working together with the Agriculture and Food Council, where we have all the experts and the knowledge center. We are working together with the embassies and so on. So we are bringing the knowledge out to our partners around. And that's again the whole Danish Pig Academy. So again, if you go to our homepage, I have small cards out there. There's small storage about farmers, what they are doing, and you can see the movies. So it's a good place also to go on the net and get this inspiration. Yes, that was shortly about Danish Pig Academy. And now I will move to Aco Funki presentation. Yes, now we are here. And we start with our vision. All employees in Aco Funki, they have to know our vision. They have to know why we have employed them and why they are coming to work. And their vision is, we want to give both the farmer and the pigs a better life. So that's why we are employing people in Aco Funki. Aco Funki, I would say we are quite old company. We not feel old, but we are more than 90 years old. Our main office is in the middle of the farmland in Denmark. It's called Herning, and we are only focusing on the pig. That is our focus. We have office in Denmark, Spain, France, Germany, Poland, and China, where we have our own people. We are working in 50 countries, and in many countries we are working together with partners. The same we are doing here in Korea. We are part of Aco Group, which is a very big company with around 5,200 employees. They are working in the building industry. When you see many times these drains around in the city, this is Aco Drain. So behind Aco Funki there's a very strong company, and that also means that we are able to do things when it's also needed. If we take the milestone, come back from 1933, we were started, and then we were the first company in the world making the automatic dry feeding system in 1963. We were a part of Aco since 2004, and 10 years later, we take over Egeberg. Maybe some of you know this company. Now both companies is under one roof in Aco Funki. In 2017, we started the Danish Pig Academy, and then we are here today. Yes, I have already mentioned our vision. Our mission is a little bit, another one is that we care for responsible and efficient pig production with intelligent farm solutions. And to explain that, it is that we want to bring a low carbon footprint in the pig production, and we want to bring in the animal welfare. Okay. I think I'll jump over these. And we have 4 focus areas. When you look in our catalog, something with red is about animal welfare. Something with green is responsible pig production. Something with blue is better working environment for the farmer. And the purple one is intelligent farm solution. But this is the 4 focus area in our company. And what we are doing is, now I'll just make a quick run through our program. We are doing penning. We are, I think, maybe the highest position in penning in many countries in Europe and in Denmark. We have our famous Funki Funki and our famous Funki Egebag. And then we have the penning system for all the animals. We are today also making many of our penning in this fiber. It's 1 centimeter thick. It's massive. And we do that especially in areas where they have African swine fever, because then if they get it, then it's easier to clean. If you have these board profile with air inside, it's more or less impossible. We have a full program of flooring, both in cast iron, in plastic, and also in polymer concrete for heating plates. Today I will tell you a little bit about the free fairings. We have done that many years. I would think we have a new generation now. We have just made some farms about this, where we have both the feeding trough and the piglet nest by the walkway. So it's very easy for the farmer to see the sows and inspect the piglets. And it's standing very diagonal. So now you can see it's very diagonal. So if you stand here, you can see it from behind when it's getting small pigs. I would say this is a new generation. When you get piglets, then you put the wings together. So you avoid crushing pigs. And then after 3-4 days, you open the fairing crate. This is the newest version, and it's running very well in some farmers already in France and in Denmark. We have also another one that's also running here in Korea, actually, by some of you. I would say it's the generation before, where we have the walkway, we have the nest by the walkway, and the trough in the other side, like a normal fairing crate. Here again, you can close it when it's getting piglets and open again, and then you can see the sow from behind when it's getting piglets. This is one of the big farmers in Poland. They have more than 40,000 pigs. They have one farm with free fairing, the well safe. They have an average weaning weight around 6 kilo. But this farm with the free fairing, that's around 7 kilo. So again, because the sow is coming up more time, it's making more exercise, it's eating more and drinking more, and it's free space for the piglets for drinking, then they are growing better. So there is even, we are taking care about animal welfare, but they are also benefit from that and giving us a bigger pigs at weaning. Another system which is coming more and more in is that we also have to have free sows in the insemination period. That means when they have got food, then you can close all the boxes, and then you can take the boar in front, and then you can inseminate the sow. And after insemination, you can release the sow, and they are free. And it's actually working well. And this farmer here, Søren Mikkelsen, he have got this new fairing crate with the trough and the nest by the walkway. And he have got this box where they are free in the mating. And today he's on 42 pigs per sow per year. So it's possible. I think this is some of the best results we see in Denmark and it's even with a free sow in the farrowing and a free sow in the mating. I have also some new results just from Sweden this year. In Denmark, it's maybe a little bit more difficult in Korea if you don't have the straw, but we give them fresh straw in the gestation 3 to 4 times a day. It's cutted straw in 5 centimeter, and then the system do that automatically. They just put this big bale in the barn, and then it's coming into the sow, and the sow is coming up, eating the straw, and then they are much more relaxed and not much fighting. And a result from Sweden says that if you give them straw compared to the control, you get significant more piglets live born in the farrowing. But what is even more interesting is that treating the sow with antibiotic, only 4.2 with the straw and 37.7 without. So it's 9 times more. So again, animal welfare here, you give the sow better life, but at the same time you get better results. So they can work together. Then we do the dry feeding system. We have a simple, we have more advanced dry feeding system. I will say dry feeding is coming more and more up, and liquid feeding is less and less and less. And the reason for that is that the genetic today, they are producing meat. They are not producing fat. So actually in a simple feeder, you can have the same feed conversion ratio as with liquid feeding. We could not do that for 10 years ago in Denmark. There we have to limitate the feed by the liquid feeding, otherwise they produce too much fat. And at that time we save around 10 to 12 kilo of feed if we have liquid feeding. But today it's more or less the same. We have a lot of feeders in our program. We have one with water drop and feed. We have also a small one with a machine and a sensor, so it's giving the smallest pig fresh feed. But you can see more about that in our program. About feeding the pigs in one pipe, we can have them with a different feed, where we change every from one day to another, but we can also do it over some days. So again, it's possible in one pipe to feed the piglets with different feed. We have one controller system where all the things are running on the same. It's running on the same with a telephone or also with a computer. But I mentioned before, dry feeding is becoming more and more popular in Denmark because of the results. But we have also liquid feeding, and we have been a liquid feeding company in 45 years. So we are also selling that and producing that. And the advantage with liquid feeding is that you can see all the pigs are eating at one time. So there's also advantage, especially also if you can get cheap waste products from some industry, then you have a chance to use that. But you should not use it for the feed conversion ratio. It's for the other purpose. And again, liquid feeding, it's a process where you mix the water and the feed, so it's also more management when you do that. We have also a special liquid feeding for the smallest pig in small pipes, where we feed them maybe 12 times a day. And then we have a milk system. It's a small unit. It's like a pallet, 120 by 180 centimeter. You just plug and play, put the water and the power on, and then the piglets can drink milk from a cup. They have a water cup and a milk cup. And again, especially in Denmark, where you have so many alive born, you can keep 2 to 3 pigs more in the same farrowing crate instead of making nursing sows. And you don't need so many extra farrowing crates. So in Denmark, it's very normal to give the piglets additional milk by the sow, so you have more piglets there. But again, it's a calculation, because milk powder is also a cost. So it's a calculation you have to make before you do that. Then I will show you another product. It's we call it stimulus. Here we are stimulating the sow when you're getting when it's getting mating, and there's a program in this machine stimulate the sow, so you don't have to do it manually, and that means that one person can stimulate can handle 4 machines at the same time, and we are sure that the sow get the right stimulation and taking in the semen herself. Yes, I will just mention some few projects we have done here in Korea. I think we have done more than 20. Shansang Farm, Mr. Lee is sitting there with liquid feeding and farrowing crates. We have a Happy Farm, it's with the free farrowing. We have also a JM Farm here. We have a farm cube, and also Mr. Park was sitting. Yeah, he's sitting there, yeah. So some of the farmers is already sitting here using our equipment. And then for the end, if you want to have our catalog, it's around 100 pages, and we have a digital one where it's a lot of movies showing from the farms. Then you can scan these numbers, or you can go out and get a card afterwards. Then you have a chance to see the catalogs, or you can go to our YouTube channel where there's more than 100 movies showing farms from different countries or different products. And here in the end, I will just show you our partners here in Korea. The first one is Euro Housing. Maybe you can raise up Euro Housing, sitting over here. Probably you know this company. And the other one is ExoAir. I can see they are sitting over there. Yeah. And the last one is JR Industry, sitting right here. So if you have questions or you want to have support or talks about Aco Funki, you can get the contact here. Yes, I think that was all what I want to say.
Hello everyone. 안녕하세요. Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank the Korean Pork Producers Association and the Embassy of Denmark in Korea and the Danish Agriculture and Food Council for organizing this seminar. And I would also like to thank everyone here for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend this seminar. And I would also please allow me to make a short introduction about myself. My name is Shuang. I used to work for Breeders of Denmark as the area sales manager for Asia. And now Breeders of Denmark is part of 100 Genetic Swine. And this is my second time here in South Korea. And I must say I love South Korea. I think the Koreans are very kind and helpful and also very polite. And I also like Korean food, especially the Korean barbecue. And then, let's get back to the point. I will make a short introduction of 100 swine, 100 genetic. 100 Genetics is registered in 2005 and is headquartered in Boxmeer, the Netherlands. And we have different species. We have layers, we have broilers, we have turkeys, swine, salmon, and shrimp. And now we have 29 breeding centers and 326 multiplication farms. And there are 3,000 employees worldwide, and 44 of whom are geneticists. And we have our own facilities in 28 countries. And we have the turnover for more than 650 million euro. And 100 Genetic Swine is the subsidiary of 100 Genetics, and which was established in January this year. And also 100 Genetics Swine is only 3 months old. We have more than 120 years of experience in the field of swine breeding. And now we have more than 20 nucleus farms located in 8 different countries, with more than 17,000 GGP animals, from 4 GGP sire lines, 4 GP dam lines, and 2 hybrid lines. And we have more than 450 employees, and more than 30 of whom are geneticists and technical support staff. And now we are exporting our high-quality breeding animals to nearly 50 countries. And 100 Genetics Swine is the name of a joint venture company. And it owns 2 brands. One is Hyper, and another one is Danny Genetics. And Danny Genetics has 9 partners. 2 of them are vendors, and the rest are nucleus farms. So Breeders of Denmark is now also the shareholder of 100 Genetics Swine. And here you can see some pictures of our nucleus farms in Denmark. It's Rangshauge, Karegård, Trekanten, Sydberggård, Lundborggård. Maybe some of you have been there before. And Solvang and the Lille Tankerdal. And here's our nucleus facility in Germany. 2 in France, in Spain, another one in Spain, in Brazil. And we are building a new nucleus farm in China for 1,500 sows. It's under construction now. And here's our nucleus farm in USA, in Canada. Yes. And Danny Genetics have 4 products. We have Duroc as the sire line, and for the dam line we have Danish Landrace, Danish Yorkshire, and Danish Hybrid. And our maternity line is known for the excellent mothering ability, and also the robustness, and also the good milking ability, and also for the superior reproduction performance, and also low feed consumption. And our Danish Duroc is known for high diligin and low FCR and high meat percentage. And here you can see some statistics from Danny Genetics. And the data was collected based on all the tested animals from all Danny Genetic farms in Denmark during the year of 2023. Here you can see our Duroc, the top 10%, has from 30 to 100 kilo. The daily gain is 1,402 grams. And in average, it's 1,211 grams. And if we look at the daily weight gain from birth to 30 kilo for landrace, the top 10 is 442 grams, and the average is 384 grams. And if we look at FCR, for the Duroc top 10, 1.76, and the average is 1.98. And for Yorkshire, is top 10 is 1.84, and the average is 2.11. And this is the performance for the boars. And here you can see the performance for the females. And the limit percentage for both boars and females are over 60%. And here you can see benchmark of our slaughter pigs. And the data were collected from our clients in different countries except Denmark. Here you can see our top 10%. The number of weaned piglets per sow per year is 40.17 heads in 2022. And in 2023, the top 10%, the PSY is 40.80 heads. So in 1 year, it increased 0.63 heads. And here you can see the difference between daily weight gain with an example. Let's set the slaughter weight as 120 kilo. If the daily gain is 900 grams, and it takes 100 days from 30 kilo to slaughter. But if the daily weight gain is 1,150 grams, it only takes 7-8 days from 30 to slaughter. So you can save 22 days. And if we look at the cost in the feed per finisher, if we say the feed consumption is 2.5 kilo per day, and the feed cost is $0.41 US, and multiply the number of days, you can see only increase the daily gain from 900 grams to 1,150 grams. You can save almost 20% of the feed cost. And here's another example. If you use other genetics, you have 1,000 sows on your farm, which provide 22 piglets per year, with daily gain 900 grams per day. And the mortality between weaning and slaughter is 3%. This 1,000 sows can produce 21,340 slaughter pigs per year. If you want to produce the same number of slaughter pigs per year, with the same mortality rate, but with daily gain 1,000 grams and PSY 35, you only need 629 sows to produce the same number of slaughter pigs. And we were talking about the carbon emission yesterday, so I can just provide a simple solution. If you want to reduce the carbon emission, change from other genetics to our genetics. And you can save 35% of the sows, and the manure from the pork production is reduced by 22.7%. And the reduction in carbon emission is reduced by 24%. Just change the genetics. And here are the hyper products. For the sire line, we have P-Train, Hyper Maxter, and we have two Duroc lines. It's a Hyper Magnus and Hyper Canto. For the dam line, we have Hyper Ladride, Hyper Landrace, and Hyper Libra. And previous, there was only one breeding company in Denmark called Danbred. And since 2018, Denmark has had two breeding companies. So the second one is Danish Genetics. Since I started working at Danish Genetics, the first frequently asked question I have been asked is, what's the difference between these two breeding companies in Denmark? And due to the time limitation, I will use data to answer the most concerned question. Here in the first chart, you can see the number of weaned piglets per sow per year. The orange line is the average level in Denmark. And the blue line is another breeding company level. And the red line is ours. So you can see it clearly. Our sows can provide more weaned piglets compared to others, right? And if we look at the daily gain, you can see in 2023, the daily gain decreased because of the disease on some of the farms. But in 2024, it returned to the normal level again. And if we look at the last chart, which is the kilo feed per kilo growth, which means how many kilograms of feed a pig needs to eat in order to grow, to gain 1 kilogram of weight. And so we can also call it FCR. You can see in 2022, our FCR is relatively high, but in 2024, it dropped from 2.57 to 2.45. And in these slides, you can see the mortality rate. The first chart is the sow mortality rate. You can see our sow mortality rate is more than 50% lower than the Danish average level. And the second and third charts shows the piglet mortality rate, including the stillborn. Whether it's from birth to weaning or from birth to slaughter, you can see our piglets' mortality rate is much lower than the Danish average level and than another Danish breeding companies. And here you can see some comparison of various indicators since the establishment of Danish genetics in 2018. If we look at the second chart, you can see the mortality between birth and weaning, excluding stillborn. Our mortality rate is much lower than the Danish average level. And if we look at the first chart, which shows the number of liveborn per litter, you can see our liveborn is actually lower than the Danish average level. But if we look at the last chart, which shows the weaned piglets per sow per year, you can see our sows can wean more piglets per year than the Danish average level. And here you can see some figures. And let's take 2023 as an example. The mortality rate before weaning in 2023, our is 12.4%. And in Denmark, average level is 14.5%. So our mortality rate is 2.1% lower than the Danish average level. And in 2019, it's even 4.9% lower than the average level. And if we look at the liveborn per litter, in 2023, we have 17.8 heads, and in Denmark, it's 18.2. So we have 0.4 heads less than the Danish average level for the liveborn per litter. But if we look at weaned piglets per sow per year, we have PSY 36.3, and in Denmark, in average, is 34.8. So we have 1.45 heads more than the Danish average level. So let me summarize. Now at 100 genetic swine, for the breeding goals, we have 4 focus points. The first one is to improve the uniformity of the piglets. We have weighed until now, I think, around 200,000 piglets. And the average birth weight is between 1,250 grams to 1,300 grams. And the second focus is to increase the weaned piglets per sow per year while maintaining the excellent reproductivity level of our sows. And the third focus is to to increase the number of functional teeth. I mean the functional teeth, not just the number of teeth. And now the Landrace and Yorkshire, they both have more than 14 functional teeth. And the last but not the least, we want to improve the leg structure and the body conformation of our breeding animals. So you can see after 2014, which is the year that Danish Genetic was established, the breeding goals and the breeding directions of the two Danish breeding companies are completely different. And I think that's all I want to share with you for today. Thank you. 감사합니다.
안녕하세요. Hello everyone. Thanks for the Danish companies to introduce why from equipment aspect and from genetic aspect we have a very good production of Danish pigs. And I would like to introduce you from the nutrition aspect, why it's also important to have a good production of the pigs. So Danish Aco Agro is a feed and a feed additives company in Denmark. And it has a history of 141 years old. A little bit introduction about me. I had a study in China, in USA, Denmark and Holland, so many countries. And now I end up with this Danish company, R2 Agro. I'm the market manager for the Asian market for this company. Danish R2 Agro produce raw materials and also process the raw materials. And in Asia, the most important is feed additives. And most of our feed additives are from nature fruits or vegetables and herbs. So it's almost all are natural products. A short history is established by Eva Nielsen in 1884. And now R2 Agro belongs to one of the company of R2 Group Holding, and it has many companies in Denmark. And we distribute over 60 countries in the world. One of the products, I'm not sure if you have heard it, it sells very good in South Korea, is Cabernet. A bit introduction. As I said, most of our products are from nature fruits and vegetables. And this one, you can see, we from sweet chestnut, red grape, citrus, blackcurrant, aronia. We extract it and use it as a vitamin E replacer. It's a polyphenol products. You may heard many antioxidants or polyphenol products, but our products is from many fruits. And this is a nature enhancer for replace vitamin E and help you to produce healthy pigs, but also chicken, and healthy meat, and give you a longer shelf life and improve the color of the meat in a natural way. And for this product, we have a South Korea partner, ACC, Animal Care Company. They are distributing this product in South Korea, and it's really good, I think. Another thing I would like to introduce is genetics are very important. When you use good genetics, you can have a good birth rate, but also I think the nutrition is really, really important. In Denmark, a good nutrition management can increase your production and make good, very great difference. And one of our top products is Yogulak. This is a pig yogurt product used for the first week when the piglets are born. And in general, it can save 1.5 to 2 piglets per farrow. So what is a Yogulak? It is a milk powder, and then you mix it with the water and make it like yogurt flavor for the newborn piglets. I don't know, it's too small. I'm not going to show the video. If you are interested, you can go to our website and there's a video of this product. I think now for the time, I will just show you this point instead. Yogulak is a low pH, so it's not the ordinary milk replacer. Then this low pH will keep it very long, and you can put this in the warm area when the small or weak piglets cannot move. They need to stay in a warm area. And this low pH will keep the Yogulak fresh for 48 hours. It doesn't go bad. So this is very different to the ordinary milk replacer. It contains milk and whey powder and lactic acid, citric acid. It increases the immune system and inhibits the bad bacteria, and it have natural antioxidants. As we said, when you have a high birth rate, we will have many small pigs. Maybe the soy milk is not enough. And another thing is your birth weight. Maybe some of the pigs, the birth weight is too low. Then you need extra supplements. And Yogulak is one of the best supplements. So it helps the small and weak piglets to grow after they born. We have started that 77% of the piglets died. They have an empty stomach. Means they are unable to get the milk or energy from the mother. So we need to help them. To help you to save the cost, the farmers need to help them for the first 3 or 4 days. That's very important. That decides a lot. You can increase your production and become competitive in the market. And the Yogulak is designed for that. So how we use it? For the birth weight below 700 grams, maybe the small pig cannot even move. Then we need to help them with this kind of injector to put directly of Yogulak into their mouth. So you repeat for a few times, maybe 1 day or even half day, they can move themselves. so they can go either by themselves to the mother or to the yogurt. Later we also have a device I'll show you. And for the piglets, it's over 700 grams. Maybe they can move themselves, so we don't need this way. We have a feeder system. It's like this. If you go to a lot of exhibition, probably you'll see a lot of this device. This is also produced by another Danish company. Then you use this system. You mix it with 100 grams of yogurt powder with 1 liter water, and then you put in the warm area. There's no problem to put in the warm area. It will keep fresh. That's also, as I said, the difference with other milk replacer. So the piglets will go there to eat it for using for the first week. It really make a difference for your production. Of course, you can also use when the pig gets bigger, even during the transition period, like lactation period. But that will be more expensive. So the best value is for the first week after the pig gives birth. It has a lot of benefits. I won't go into it, but from our practice, we have very good feedback of these products. It's also used by CP Foods in many countries. So it saves you a lot, and it has a very 2 years shelf life of the powder, and we are going to introduce it in South Korea. So we'll find a good partner. So it saves you the piglets. So it's very important that from different levels. That's why Denmark have a top performance of the pig production. It's from equipment, it's from genetics, it's also from the nutrition management. Another product I would like to talk about is Inflamoo. Just now, my friend, they talk about in Denmark, they almost don't use antibiotics and zinc oxide. But how can you still make healthy pigs and promote the growth? Then we make, from the nutrition level, we make the natural additives, and this is Inflamoo. So what is Inflamoo? This feed additives is pure natural. It's from rosemary, fenugreek seeds, grape pulp extract, olive leaves, all these kind of herbs. So it's total nature. It's very important. We all want pig grow fast and have a lot of meat, no disease. But it's very important that we don't give antibiotics to the pigs, so the antibiotics don't go to the human. That's a big problem now. We eat the animal, but the animal meat have too much antibiotics, and it's caused big problems for human. So our company's products is to solve this problem. We only give natural additives. This I'm not going to detail, but it works like to change the gut macro in the intestine system, so it helps the animal to improve its immune and to in general to promote growth and help the animal keep healthy. We have details of the different parts and for the different function, but we have a very strong R&D, research and development team to research on this, and they develop very good products. And this product also it's widely be used in Europe, and especially the pig industry. It can also used by chicken, and it's very good effects, especially between when the pigs between 7 kilo and to 20 kilo period. It's also very the faster growing period. So this is mode of the action, how this natural products can replace the antibiotics and still make the great effects of the animal health. And how to use it. And also the effects, not only keep the animal health, but also reduce FCR significantly. So for the farmers and for the feed companies, they save a lot of money and feed for the same gain. Yeah, we also did a lot of trials. That's also our strength, not only with universities, but also with the big feed companies. And I'm not going through this data, but the data just prove that these effects. And we also you can see of the fecal scores. So when you use this, we test the fecal, and we can see the piglets or pigs. They will have a more healthy IG system. So it's a calculation. It's not only help you save the money, but help you to produce the healthy meat, which is important for our humans. In general, about these products, its benefits. So if you are interested in our company and products, we have more than 20 products. And I think different products, we need different partners. If you are interested in our company, and you come to our website and contact me. Thank you.
Thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. I think I'm a very lucky man, because not only do I get to travel to beautiful places and eat fantastic food like here in Korea, I also have a very simple product which is easy to explain. So I will make it quite brief today, and I have 2 key takeaways for you that I will sum up in the end. So as I said, my name is Hans-Jørgen Holm and I'm the Global Sales Manager from TripleA. TripleA is a Danish company that makes a special soy protein concentrate. And we are owned by Hornsyld Købmandsgård, which is a Danish company that has existed for more than 90 years in the Danish agricultural industry, selling grains and other things for agriculture. This business has an annual turnover of roughly 400 million, just to give you an idea about that. Our company was founded after a patent was taken by the Copenhagen University. Then they founded TripleA. The process is patented and it is very different than other soy protein concentrates. You are probably familiar with some of the methods. There is an alcohol extraction, there is a fermentation, there is also one where you use enzymes, but ours is different and I will come a little bit back to that later. Meanwhile, our product is very popular in the Danish industry because, as my colleagues have shown, we have a good industry with very good results, and there is a high focus also. When you have a good genetic, then you also need to have a good feed. Actually, in any animal industry, or also even in humans, a good start is very important. My background has been in aquaculture for many years, and in aquaculture you also try to give the absolute best feed in the beginning. And this is the same with piglets, it's the same with broilers, mink. Any animal or any human is good with an important start. So today actually nearly half of the Danish farmers are using our product in the start feeding phase up to 10-12 kilo. So our method is different in the way that what we do is that we use acid to change the pH, and then we wash out the oligosaccharides with water. So it's a water-based method. And we end up with a protein which is different than the others, because ours has 68% protein and a very, very high digestibility. So the amino acid profile of our product is very different than other SPCs in the market. And that's why it is so beneficial for young animals. I will not go a lot into the process here. We can discuss that at a later stage, but it is different mainly in the way that it is a water-based method. So it is a soy protein that is highly digestible, up to 97% digestibility, and typically it's used with a 10-12% inclusion in the piglet feed in what my colleague referred to as the first phase, up to 10-12 kilo. We have seen in Denmark that when zinc oxide was phased out, then many have been forced to lower the protein content of the first feed. And we have shown with this product that you can maintain a high protein content and still have good results and avoid problems with diarrhea, because the product is so digestible. Then it has a very low pH and acid binding capacity, and that helps the entire feed being more digestible. So you get a much better digestibility, not only of our share, but of the whole feed. Then it has a high viscosity and water binding capacity also, so that helps the process on its way also in the stomach. We have seen a lot lower mortality actually also in trials with this product. When you do a lot of trials, then sometimes you end up in a situation where you get disease during a trial. And when that has happened, we have actually proved that when we finished the trial, the mortality in the part that got AX3 was significantly lower. And I will not go a lot into complicated details as I started off with saying, but I will just show this one slide which I really like. It shows you that within less than 30 minutes, 78% of our product is already digested here. And you can see that for traditional high-protein soybean meal, it's a lot lower. And even for LT fish meal, low-temperature Scandinavian fish meal, which is known as a very, very good ingredient, and it really is, it's still far below what we have with our product. And this is also why we can actually replace fish meal in piglet feed, and we do that already today. We have some good trials on that. I think this is one of the secrets why our product is so successful, because when you get this good digestion in the beginning, then you have less problems in the end, because there's simply less things that can create problems later, and the entire feed mix becomes more digestible. Next slide is this trial that we have made with the fish meal, and that will be too complicated to read, and I also forgot my glasses. But if you are interested, you can come by after when the break, and I can send you the article along with some other articles on a lot of other subjects we have done. We have talked about sustainability a lot, and normally when you talk about sustainability, you are a little bit worried when you hear about soybean, because that does not have the best reputation in sustainability. With my background in fish feed, I was quite worried about this when I started in the company. So what I did was that I asked the external consultancy company called BioVeritas, which is very famous in Europe, to make a third-party verification of our footprint, so that we know exactly what our footprint is, because I wanted to know if we have a problem or not. So what they did was that they assessed our complete cycle from raw material to transport to product, all the way to we have a finished product, to say exactly what is our CO2 footprint. Because very often we are talking about sustainability, but it has to be very concrete. We have to know exactly what we are talking about. So this is quite complicated, and I got an 80-page assessment of the whole thing, and I will not dig into that, but I can tell you that 95% of the footprint of our product comes with the soybean from South America, and only 5% is from the factory. This was a bit of a surprise from me, but the reason why we add so little to it in Denmark is because we have a factory which is located close to our mother company, and in that mother company we are heating with burning waste from agriculture, so that is not assessed as high CO2 contribution. So we end up actually with a product that is very low in CO2 compared to other SPC product. And one typical product that is used in Denmark is over here, has in the top, as you can see, 56% protein, digestibility of 91%. Our product, AX3 Digest, is 68% protein and has nearly 97% digestibility. Looks like this. When you replace the competing product, 56%, with our product, you actually reduce the CO2 footprint coming from, can I point with this one? Yeah. You can reduce the CO2 coming from the soy fraction with 41%. 41% less than if you have a traditional soy product. So I think that is quite impressive. And I actually think this is the most low CO2 soy product there is in the world. I have not come across anyone which is lower. So that is one thing. The second thing is that we see more and more countries that ban zinc oxide, and this is very often associated with problems with diarrhea. We know that we can use this product to help you if you want to phase out zinc oxide. I know you have very little farmland for the maneuver here also, so maybe that is interesting to look into. We have seen in Denmark that a lot of farmers are using it, up to half of them. It's a good replacement for fish meal, and we expect a rapid growth of this product in several markets. We are today already selling it quite a lot in Asia. We have sold in China. We are selling a lot in Taiwan and in Malaysia. And I started Thailand a couple of years ago. And now we are here in Korea, and I really hope that we can find a good strong partner here that can see the benefit. So what we are looking for here is a strong local partner which also work with the other Danish solutions, because when you have Danish genetics and you have the barn in place and you have everything in place, then you also need to look into how you feed the many piglets, because they need really this good start in order for you to get a good profit in the end. So we are looking for a dealer that or distributor that could see an idea in that and want to differentiate on that. And it's a product that has really been very successful. So I hope that you are interested, and if you have any questions, then let me know or reach out to me in the break. Thank you. Thank you.